Chapter 281. Bear Strength Phantom. When Fang Yuan stepped into the battle stage, all the random thoughts were cast out of his head. He calmly sized up the opponent in front of him. Tang Xiong. He was 8 feet tall, wide shoulders, and a thick waist. Just his arms alone were as thick as Fang Yuan's thighs, as he stood on the stage without an upper garment or shoes. His chest was filled with black chest hair, giving off a wild and formidable aura. Little scoundrel, you killed my little brother? Today, I shall send you to accompany him in the afterlife. Tang Xiong looked at Fang Yuan with bloodshot eyes. The flames of hatred could be clearly seen. The surrounding temperature was burning as if it was the torrid afternoon heat of July or August. The ground was boiling hot. Black and red mixed together to form the lava terrain. This was a mid-scale battle stage. There were only few spectators, about dozens. Most of them came to watch how Tang Xiong took revenge. As for Fang Yuan, he might have obtained 2 victories, but it still wasn't enough for him to be famous. Tang brothers grew up relying on each other. Now Tang Qing is dead and only Tang Xiong remains. I am waiting to see how Tang Xiong tortures this kid to death. What is this kid's name? I think he was called Guyu Fangzheng, a no-name junior. This kid is too thoughtless. He actually dared to break the unsaid rules and kill his first 2 opponents. He should be a demonic Gu master who had only recently entered the city. Alas, the young do not know to conduct themselves. This day wouldn't have come if he had shown mercy. The audience continued talking about the match, but no one was optimistic about Fang Yuan. Wei Yong was in a disguise and was looking at the battle stage with a burning gaze. Tang Xiong also walked the strength path. He was a rank 2 peak stage expert, but could unleash with the strength of 3 bears and even won his way through to 4th inner city. He was a strong opponent for the current Fang Yuan. Ding! A clear ring of the bell announced the start of the match. Tang Xiong roared and charged straight at Fang Yuan like a wild bull. The ground of this battle stage was made of dark red lava rocks. Fang Yuan could feel the scalding heat from the ground even though he was wearing boots. While Tang Xiong was barefooted, he did not pay any attention to the heat. Tum-tum-tum. Every time Tang Xiong's feet stepped on the ground, it produced a loud and deep sound. At the same time, his every step shattered the lava rocks and left a deep footprint in the ground. Fang Yuan narrowed his eyes, his gaze as sharp as a blade's edge. He was at ease despite Tang Xiong's aggressive momentum. The corner of his lips curled up into a cold smile as he outrageously charged at Tang Xiong head-on. Has he gone crazy? He dares to face Tang Xiong head-on? He could have had a chance to survive if he prolonged the match. This is simply charging towards his doom. The audience shook their heads as they looked at this scene. Fang Yuan was young. His body was not even half as muscular as Tang Xiong's. The scene of him charging at Tang Xiong was like a lamb colliding with a big ox. Bam! The 2 fiercely collided against each other. The enormous strength sent both of them flying. Tang Xiong was thrown back 6 steps, as a clearly shocked expression showed on his face. How could this kid have such great strength? Meanwhile, Fang Yuan was thrown back 3 steps, as the white light armor protecting his body shook. The result of the collision amazed the audience. Some had their jaws wide open and some repeatedly blinked their eyes. Not having expected Fang Yuan to possess such strength. My strength is actually less than his? No wonder little brother died at his hands. Tang Xiong's expression changed and looked at Fang Yuan properly for the first time. Fang Yuan shook his numb arm. His expression was still indifferent. This result wasn't beyond his expectation. He possessed the strength of 2 boars and a crocodile. There was also some increase to his strength due to using brown bear innate strength Gu these days. And Tang Xiong, he only possessed the strength of 2 bears, Grand Bear Gu. Tang Xiong roared. The muscles on his body expanded visibly and his body size grew by a fold. He temporarily gained the strength of a bear palm Gu. A ball of yellow light covered his palms and soles. After the light dispersed, his hands and feet increased in size by over 3 times, turning into thick and enormous bear palms. Whoosh! He jumped with ferocious strength. Next, he waved his right palm, smashing at Fang Yuan. The strong wind produced from his motion sent Fang Yuan's clothes fluttering before the bear palm even hit him. Fang Yuan was still calm. He clenched his left palm into a fist and struck directly at the bear palm. Fist and palm struck, producing a muffled sound. It was a draw. However, following immediately, Tang Xiong's arm swept horizontally and another palm also came smashing over. Fang Yuan used a fence against a fence. Bang, bang, bang. Fists and palms struck each other multiple times. The wind was screaming from their attacks. The audience revealed astonished expressions when they saw Fang Yuan equally matched as he attacked Tang Xiong head-on. This youngster has some skills to be able to duke it out with Tang Xiong. What was his name again? This is a tough nut. Tang Xiong is in trouble. Grand Bear Gu has a time limit, and once the effect disappears, he will be disadvantaged. However, right at this moment, a fierce bear's roar resounded throughout the battle stage. A phantom image of a black bear appeared behind Tang Xiong. It opened its bloody mouth and roared towards the skies. Beast Phantom. Tang Xiong got lucky and was able to unleash the Beast Phantom. The smack that should have been extremely normal now had the strength of a bear. Fang Yuan could not dodge in time and hurriedly put up his arms to stiffly block it. Boom. With a huge bang, he was sent flying. The white light armor on his body flickered rapidly before dimming. His arms were numb and would not be usable for some time. He did his best to maintain his balance in midair. He twisted his waist and landed on the ground on his feet. The moment he landed, he activated the canopy Gu. The white light armor appeared once more, but this time it looked weak and transparent. Its defense had decreased by a lot. That is a bear strength phantom. Tang Xiong has flared up. Bear strength specializes in smacking. It is normal for the bear strength phantom to appear since Tang Xiong has already attacked so many times. The situation was still in deadlock, but with the bear strength phantom, that kid's momentum is destroyed. Tang Xiong holds the upper hand now. According to the previous statistics, Tang Xiong can use the bear strength phantom 5 times on average in every fight. If that kid has no way to deal with it, he will definitely be defeated. Outside the battle stage, the audience kept on making a commotion with their comments. The appearance of a bear strength phantom meant the true battle was starting, and it roused the audience's passion. I have the strength of 2 boars and a crocodile. Boar strength is good at charging attacks and crocodile strength is good at bite attacks. But I have yet to acquire the bear strength. I can't bring out the beast phantom by using my fists or palms. Moreover, the canopy Gu is not good at defending against close combat attacks, and will likely be destroyed by 1 or 2 more attacks from the bear strength phantom. Fang Yuan's thoughts flashed through, and he decided to change his battle tactics. Jumping grass. He willed, and a spring-like grass soon grew out from his soles, then pierced through his boots, just as Tang Xiong was charging at him. Fang Yuan stamped on the ground and leapt far away like a frog. At the same time, his left palm swiped at Tang Xiong's direction. A scarlet-colored moonblade immediately shot out of his palms and struck Tang Xiong. The defensive light on his body flickered for a while. Blood Moon Gu might not have high offensive power, but it was a rank 3 Gu after all. Tang Xiong was distracted for a moment before he pounced upon Fang Yuan again. Fang Yuan used the same trick again, throwing scarlet moonblades from afar. He had changed his battle tactics and didn't engage Tang Xiong in close combat. Tang Xiong had no choice but to use his movement Gu and chase after Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan kept on attacking and retreating. It was not that Tang Xiong didn't have long-range attacking methods, but they were many times weaker than his close combat power and simply could not threaten Fang Yuan. Tang Xiong growled repeatedly in anger and tried to provoke Fang Yuan by cursing at him. The audience also made booing noises since they wanted to see intense close combat. However, how could Fang Yuan be so easily provoked? He did not have a complete set of Gu worms and had yet to make close combat his forte. Even the long-range attacks were forcefully improvised by him. Time passed by. Both their primeval essences continually fell. Fang Yuan's advantage became clearer. He possessed light silver primeval essence of rank 3 initial stage, while Tang Xiong only had B-grade aptitude and red steel primeval essence. Despite the strength path Gu master's advantage in consuming very little primeval essence, they could not last forever. By the time Fang Yuan's Blood Moon Gu made 5 to 6 wounds on Tang Xiong's body, the latter had no choice but to admit defeat since his healing Gu was not very good and blood kept on flowing out of the wounds. Just wait. One day, I will smack you into minced meat. Tang Xiong covered his wounds and walked out of the stage. He came with the aggressiveness of the devil but was leaving with a pale face, his steps light and weak. To think 4th Inner City's Tang Xiong was defeated. What is that Gu? It could form blood-red moonblades and blood kept on flowing out of the wounds it inflicted. I have never seen such a Gu before. This kid is not one to trifle with. He will advance to 4th Inner City's battle stage before long. Winner takes it all. Most of the audience focused on Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan received his 3rd victory, and according to the rules, he took that Grand Bear Gu from Tang Xiong. This was the most valuable Gu in Tang Xiong's possession. With this Gu gone, Tang Xian only possessed the strength of 2 bears. His battle strength decreased by 30%, and there was no need to worry about him now. However, Fang Yuan was not happy. The legendary Gu was not in the stellar stone used as a leg support. Then where was it? Was there another piece of stone used as a leg support? However, when Fang Yuan went back to the gambling den, the foot of that counter was already restored. Maybe it was not that gambling den. Fang Yuan inwardly shook at the thought. Stellar stone used to support counter in the rock gambling zone. Only this gambling den fulfilled this condition. Without the legendary goo, I won't have any advantage in walking on the strength path. Strength path had prevailed since ancient times, but now it is just a shadow of its previous glory. If I want to walk on the strength path without the legendary goo, at the very least I will need an ancient strength path inheritance. Unfortunately, I only have memories of 3 ancient strength path inheritance, of which one is at Eastern Seas and another at Central Continent. The third one is at Southern Border, but has already been occupied and exploited by Wu clan for several years now. Now that I recall it, even Empress Wu Ji of Wu clan walked the strength path. And because of this ancient inheritance, the Wu clan was able to sit on the throne of Southern Border's #1 force. Of course, this throne was only referring to the mortal realm. Rank 6 Gu immortals were at a level that crossed the ordinary and could not be calculated in this. Fang Yuan continued to secretly investigate the next 7 to 8 days without any results. Sigh, only one clue remains now. I can only give up if that doesn't work. Fang Yuan thought he was not someone who would waste time on an unsolvable problem. This final clue was Li Ran, the protagonist who obtained the legendary goo in Fang Yuan's previous life. Chapter 282, A Flash of Inspiration Goo. Although Fang Yuan had the purple thorn token, he did not dare to investigate this openly. But in his memory, Li Ran also participated in the battle stage. After obtaining the legendary goo, he won his way up and swept the battle stage. This made it easier. Fang Yuan still had the once per month enforced challenge unused. Thus, he came to the secret reception area using it. There were 3 people who were named Li Ran among the ones who had signed up, 2 males and 1 female. Eliminating the female since Li Ran was a male in the rumors, the remaining 2. One was an old man around 60 years old, slightly famous. With rank 3 cultivation, he had gone up to 3rd Inner Cities battle stage a few years ago, but his body was getting worse as the years went, falling back to 4th Inner City eventually. This was obviously not the Li Ran Fang Yuan wanted to find either, since Li Ran in his memories had a tough life. The other is a middle-aged man, over 50 years old. With rank 2 cultivation, he had arrived in Shang Clan City for around 10 years, but had remained at the 5th Inner City battle stage. He loved gambling and lived a difficult life. He had married and bore children in Shang Clan City, but the couple did not get along and separated. Fang Yuan secretly investigated and found that this person was the one he saw at the gambling den. Tailing him for several days, Fang Yuan found that this Li Ran lived from day to day. Sometimes, after eating today, he could not afford food the next day. But this did not mean he had no capabilities, that he relied on the primeval stones he earned in 5th Inner City battle stage to survive. Fang Yuan investigated his battle records. He won more than he lost. According to logic, he should not be living such a life. But this person loved to eat, gamble, and visit prostitutes. He spent his money without restraint. In order to gamble, he would even use all the primeval stones he has, such that for the next half a month, he would have to borrow money from people and eat the cheapest food possible to survive. Similarly, in order to have a feast, he would go to the highest grade restaurant and spend most of the money he had. He even ate without paying and still owed several restaurants money now. This person must be the owner of the legendary goo in my previous life. But he could not control his desires. Thus, even with the legendary goo, what could he do? No wonder he was like a shooting star, going missing soon after his fame. Fang Yuan shook his head secretly. He obtained the legendary goo in my previous life. Would he get it again now? It is not possible for me to continue tailing him for long. The day where he finds the legendary goo is nearing. Am I truly not fated to receive this goo? Fang Yuan frowned. These days, Fang Yuan spent a lot of time and effort in tailing Li Ran. If he spent this time on cultivating, he might achieve greater success. Most importantly, Fang Yuan had no confidence of whether he would gain anything from doing this. And if he continued, he might get found out. Thankfully, Wei Yang was a busy man, only coming over to watch when Fang Yuan had a battle. If not, Fang Yuan would not have the opportunity to tail Li Ran out if Wei Yang found him doing this. How would Fang Yuan explain himself? The greatest suspicion now was, why was the legendary goo not inside the stellar stone? This did not match with the rumors. Fang Yuan could not understand. This was too unimaginable. All the elements were present, but the goo was nowhere to be found. It could just be Fang Yuan's overwhelmingly suspicious nature, but he found this Li Ran very strange. He could not pinpoint what the strangeness was, but it was a feeling, an instinct. It was such a baseless feeling that even Fang Yuan could not be sure of it. Like this. After another 20 over days, Fang Yuan fell into deep perplexity. That strange feeling became stronger, but Fang Yuan did not know where it originated. Li Ran's actions had nothing amiss. He lived in Shangclan City for nearly 10 years. If there was anything wrong with him, outsiders would have known already. I am too entrenched into this, and have thought about this too much. At this time, I need an outsider's opinion to inspire myself. Fang Yuan was clear of his situation, but he only trusted himself. Although he made a poison vow with Bai Ningbing, Fang Yuan did not trust Bai Ningbing one bit. He only used her to cultivate, since the bone-flesh unity goo was much better than the liquor worm. Without anyone to help, Fang Yuan could only rely on himself, and he had gotten used to relying on himself, and liked it too. Thus, he came to the shop. Shopkeeper, do you have a flash of inspiration goo? Fang Yuan had asked a few shops. They did not have it. Finally, a shop had it, but it was priced at 29,000 primeval stones. A flash of inspiration goo, a rank 3 consumable goo, gone after one use. Who would spend so much primeval stones to buy this? But the truth is, many people did. These people were recipe masters who specialized in creating goo refinement recipes. When they got into a bottleneck and were a step from success, they would choose to use this goo. Once this goo was used, it would give them that spark of inspiration that would allow them to successfully create the new recipe. A recipe's worth is far greater than 29,000 primeval stones. Thus, a flash of inspiration goo was a goo with a lot of demand. If Fang Yuan did not have the purple thorn token, the shop would never sell it to him. A similar goo to the flash of inspiration goo is the cactus pointer. But the latter was a Tai clan specialty grass goo. It was not sold in the market. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, buying this a flash of inspiration goo. This goo was like a blue jewel tadpole, small and agile, swimming about and waving its tail. Fang Yuan activated his primeval essence, and this goo entered his brain, turning into a white spiritual light, and like lightning, tore across the layers of mystery in Fang Yuan's head. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with brilliance, finally realizing what the strange feeling was. That's right. Although this Li Ran's life is a mess without any control over himself, there exists a pattern among this mess. He goes to the restaurant once every 3 days, goes to the gambling den twice every 7 days, and the brothel once every 5 days. And every 10 days, he would go to a restaurant named Fu Tai Xiang He. From the messy report, under the influence of the flash of inspiration goo, the pattern within was revealed. That this was the strange part, that if a person was truly unrestrained and did not think of what to do, his life would be a complete mess. How could it have such a perfect rhythm? 3 days later, in Fu Tai Xiang He restaurant, clerk, the bill. Li Ran looked away from the window, calling loudly, "Coming, Lord Li Ran, 5.5 primeval stones, please." "This is 6, no need for change." Li Ran tossed out 6 primeval stones. "Thank you, Lord. Take care." Done, done, done. Li Ran walked down the stairs, and as he walked out of the restaurant, he turned into an alley and gradually vanished under the shadow. Downstairs, Fang Yuan observed silently, before calling the shop assistant, pointing at Li Ran's seat. "The view here is horrible. I want to sit there instead." According to his understanding, every time Li Ran came here, he would sit at the window seat. That was indeed strange. "No problem." The shop assistant laughed. "It is a man's interest to peek at beauties." "What?" Fang Yuan's eyebrows raised. Is an esteemed customer trying to see Qin Yin Brothel's #1 star, Lady in you? Hee. That seat can directly look into her room. If you're lucky, you can even see her body. That Li Ran earlier, he always sits here to look at her. He always makes me reserve the seat for half a primeval stones." The shop assistant said with a lecherous expression. "Oh, is that so?" Fang Yuan replied curtly, sitting at Li Ran's seat. Through the window, he could indeed see into the brothel. Qin Yin Brothel had 8 stories. The #1 lady in you was a rank 2 goo master. having a room at the top floor. She had a great body, and her Gu master identity could invoke men's conquering desires. Rumors say it takes almost 10,000 primeval stones to have her for a night. With Li Ran's fortune, he could not afford this. But was he really here to peek at Lady in You? Looking at the way he left the brothel, he was not such a man. Fang Yuan looked outside. There were many restaurants around Qin Yin brothel. Why did he choose this one? If he had a Gu worm to improve his vision, then maybe, but Fang Yuan knew he did not have such a Gu to AT this distance. Even if Lady in You was there, he would only see a blur image. This is Fang Yuan's gaze concentrated on a tofu shop opposite the street. A pair of mother and son were packing up their stall, ready to go home. Fang Yuan recognized them. They were Li Ran's wife and son. Don't tell me. His real motive was to look at them. Fang Yuan could not help but think that he closed his eyes, and the map of the street appeared in his head. There were better places to peek at Lady in You, but to observe this mother and son pair, this was the only spot. If he really wanted to look at them, why does he have to do it sneakily? According to my findings, he abandoned them years ago. Is he feeling guilty? Strange. If he was guilty and wanted to show concern for them, he could appear in front of them personally. Why does he have to be secretive? No, it could be that he was too ashamed to face them. But if he was, why would he not turn over a new leaf? This is really weird. He seems to be a mess and cannot restrain himself, but his life is actually an orderly mess. This evidently shows he has good control over himself. Fang Yuan's eyes were eerie as possibilities flashed across his mind that he chewed on the food, but could not taste them at all. He felt himself nearing the truth, like a blind man in a room getting close to the door. All the clues and suspicions flew around in his head like a tornado. Such a thinking speed caused his eating action to be greatly slowed. He slowly put down the chopsticks, raising his wine glass. The wine inside glimmering as it emitted a strong fragrance. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's black pupils expanded. The wine glass was raised halfway, and his arm stayed in midair, not moving like a statue. In his mind, a bolt of lightning struck and exploded. So that's why. I finally understand. He screamed excitedly in his heart, as a great brilliance flashed across his eyes like lightning. The mystery involving his last life and current life had finally been solved. All the suspicions were lifted, and Fang Yuan found the answer he wanted. At the same time, he found the legendary Gu he lost. Chapter 283. Got it. Wu Ran, if we ask you to sacrifice your future for the clan, are you willing to do it? I am willing. Wu Ran, if we ask you to sacrifice your reputation for the clan, are you willing to do it? I am willing. Wu Ran, if we ask you to sacrifice your life for the clan, are you willing to do it? I am willing. I was right about you, Wu Ran. From your grandfather, father, and then you were all loyal Wu clan subjects. Now, the clan has a mission for you. This mission would need you to sacrifice your future, your reputation, and maybe even your life. Lord Clan Leader, I am willing to do it for the clan. In the darkness, Wu Ran opened his eyes. Huff, he breathed out slowly, sitting up from his bed, muttering, I dreamed again. This dream was not fake, but originated from the deepest part of his memory. Li Ran is his fake name. His real name is Wu Ran. The surname Wu bore great significance in southern border. It represented the #1 overlord in the southern border, Wu clan. 11 years ago, Wu clan leader Empress Wu Ji gave an audience to Wu Ran and assigned him a secret mission, making his way into Shang clan's higher-up level. For this, he changed his name and roamed the wilderness for 3 years before settling in Shang clan city. He laid low for 8 whole years. It has been 8 years, an entire 8 years. Wu clan's clansmen have mostly forgotten me by now, huh? Wu Ran is dead. In this world, only Li Ran remains. Li Ran sighed in his heart. He had been lurking for too long. So long that he almost forgot his own name. Here, he wore a mask, living for 8 years, pretending to be a libertine, an ordinary Gu master of the lowest social level. Even to his beloved wife, he did not say a thing. During this period, he only left once every half a year to contact Wu clan. It had always been a one-sided contact, hiding all traces to the limit, until a year ago, the agent informed him that the clan was going to use him. His excitement then could not be expressed in words. After 8 years, they have finally activated it. Everything will be different now, Li Ran exclaimed. He willed, and a Gu appeared from his storage. This fossil was cube-shaped, like a brick shining with starlight on its surface. This was a stellar stone. If Fang Yuan was here, he would find that this rock was very similar to the rock used as a leg support in the gambling den. Liran caressed this fossil gently, frowning slightly. As a spy, he spent 10 years lurking in the city, creating a perfect background for himself. It would definitely gain Shang Clan's trust. But trust is not enough. He needed ability that surpasses the ordinary man, so that he can dominate the battle stage. Only then would Shang Clan recruit him and make him into an external clan elder like Wei Yang, thus gaining authority in Shang Clan. This ability had to appear naturally, and it cannot be too abrupt. Thus, Wu Clan leader Empress Wu Ji chose a goo worm for him personally. This was a goo that possessed a legendary tail. Obtained from an ancient strength path inheritance, it is an almost extinct goo in the current world. It was extremely rare. With this goo, Li Ran can emerge from his slumber and dominate the battle stage. As to the method of obtaining this goo, to avoid suspicion, Wu Clan had made preparations, that is, gambling rocks. Luck is unpredictable, and an ancient goo being sealed within a fossil was completely normal. The demonic goo master Wei Shenjing was a subordinate of Empress Wu Ji. Creating a fake scrap-grade fossil was as easy as pie. No one would be able to discern it. Liran spent some effort to make sure people believed this was a fossil from the gambling den, and not his own. He chose a gambling rock that was used as leg support in the gambling den. This rock was there for many years. People walked about and never noticed it. Liran had communicated with Wu Clan, asking Wei Shenjing to create a similar stellar stone. Later in his plan, he would swap this rock with the stellar stone in his hand without anyone noticing. He was a goo master. After observing for half a year, he knew when was the perfect time to swap the stones without anyone realizing. When he finally opens the stellar stone, the entire gambling den would testify for him that it was completely due to luck. After he obtains this goo, he would turn over a new leaf and start the story of a prodigal son. He would rise up, find his wife and child, and become an external clan elder of Shang Clan. He would complete his mission and bring his wife and child back to Wu Clan, where they belong. Thinking of his wife and son, Li Ran felt extremely guilty. He loved his wife deeply. She is so kind, so strong-willed. At the same time, as a father, he would love to give everything good in this world to his son. He was only making use of her at the start, but as time went on, their relationship deepened, and he could not stop loving her. After their son was born, his love for them only grew. But eventually, because of his mission and secret identity, he had to temporarily leave them. You must hate me now. I've disappointed you too much. But it is all right, soon. I have been deployed. I can bring you happiness. Li Ran gripped his fists, his eyes shining with determination. Tomorrow, he would go to the battle stage and engage in a battle. The day after, he would bring this stellar stone to the gambling den and perform his life-changing show. I had planned to use that stone as a cover, but life is hard to predict. Someone actually chose it. That idiot, choosing a scrap-grade stellar stone. But tomorrow, I will have to be an idiot too. Li Ran laughed, keeping the stellar stone back into his storage goo. Although there was some changes to his plans, it was still fine. He had planned for such a small accident anyway. He laid down once more, and soon fell into deep sleep. This time, he did not have any dreams. On the second day, he felt great. Energetic and full of hope. He felt that he was like a tourist walking in a dark cavern. After a long journey, he finally saw the light ahead, the exit of the cavern. 8 years of enduring, everything would become so wonderful. Everything would definitely become perfect, with such a belief. He arrived at the battle stage. He had gotten information of the opponent this time. A rank 2 peak stage goo master often seen in 5th Inner City's battle stage. He was a familiar face, even the weakest goo master. If they can roam in the battle stage without giving up, they have the ability to hold their OWN. Li Ran did not look down on his opponent. The goo Li Ran currently had were quite weak and not considered high quality. He had to conceal himself as well, unable to fight fiercely. Thus, this battle could go either way. Indeed, as they fought, it was as Li Ran predicted. From probing to fighting, the two were evenly matched. At a stalemate, the battlefield was ravaged, and the few spectators gasped at the scene. Suddenly, Li Ran's eyes shone brightly. A chance. He found a weak point of his opponent and was about to attack. Suddenly, his heart hurt, and his body stiffened. The counter-attack from his opponent sent him flying. Li Ran was heavily injured, groaning in pain. His body flew more than 10 steps back, until he stopped himself. A trace of blood fell from his mouth. However, The severity of his injuries was on par with the shock and fear in his heart right now. My flowerbud goo. My flowerbud goo. How did it lose connection with me? The stellar stone is inside it. At the same time, at Li Ran's residence, the bed was flipped over, showing a secret compartment. Fang Yuan stood beside it, holding a flowerbud goo in his hand. This goo was ranked 2, used to store items. It was shaped like a flower, light blue in color, but was crystalline material, shining clearly under sunlight. Although it was Li Ran's goo, with the spring-autumn cicada's aura, Fang Yuan instantly refined it. Fang Yuan's mind went into the goo and saw many things inside. A large sack of rice, some daily necessities, a poor-quality block of compressed tea, 30 to 40 primeval stones, and a few fossils. This is it. Fang Yuan's heart trembled as he activated his primeval essence, and a black light flew out of the flowerbud goo. The black light landed in Fang Yuan's palm, turning into a stellar stone. It looked extremely ugly, squarish, and resembled a brick, almost the same as the leg support rock. The moment the stellar stone appeared, the entire world seemed to have went silent. Fang Yuan's pupils expanded. Thump thump, thump thump. His heartbeat accelerated. He could clearly hear it, including the shabby house and the people walking outside. The surroundings faded away. Only Fang Yuan and the stellar stone were left. He held the heavy stellar stone, and he could feel the cold surface of the rock. Fang Yuan stared at it passionately at the same time. His lips curled up as he smiled. His smile widened until he opened his mouth and laughed silently. The legendary goo is finally in my hands. He screamed in his heart. Just as I guessed, this Li Ran is a spy from another clan. When I was at Qingmao Mountain, I used the gambling rock to conceal my liquor worm. He is doing the same thing. No wonder the stellar stone was empty. My previous life's rumor was all part of his act. Today, he is going to the battle stage to fight. Whether he concealed his strength or not, according to his previous records, the opponent is around the same level as him. It would be a tough fight. The legendary Goo's stellar stone is so important, it will be tough to fight if he brings it around. With his vigilant nature, he would not hide the stellar stone in the storage goo and bring it around. Because if he lost the battle, his opponent would get to take one of his goo worms. He knew there was a legendary goo within the stellar stone. If his opponent took his storage goo, he would lose the stellar stone. Chapter 284. 1, 2, 5. I admit defeat. Li Ran suddenly half-kneeled on the ground, shouting loudly. His opponent stopped charging forward, holding back his attack as he did not want to drive Li Ran into a corner. There was no benefits in doing that for both parties. Li Ran spit out a mouthful of blood, standing up shakingly. In order to quickly leave the battlefield, he purposely took a few hits from his opponent. The hosting goo master walked in front, announcing the results of the battle. Li Ran was extremely anxious after taking back the Vine information goo. He quickly left the battle stage after pretending to be dejected. He half-heartedly bandaged his injuries before rushing back to his house. Goddamn. How can this happen? What in the world happened? Why did I lose connection with flowerbud goo? Li Ran's heart was engulfed by a dark cloud. The flowerbud goo was a goo he had refined. The moment Fang Yuan refined it, he could sense it. Only 2 possibilities exist for such a situation. One is that the flowerbud goo was destroyed. The second is that someone else refined it. Was I discovered? No. Maybe the situation isn't as bad as I imagine. A burglar could have entered my house. F***CK. I have lived in Shangclan City for 8 years. I know almost all the thieves there are. Why would someone want to steal from that house of mine? Li Ran walked quickly. The stellar stone was extremely important. Even with his calm nature, he could not help but feel anxious. He was regretting. He should have hid the flowerbud goo at a safer location and not place it in the secret compartment under his bed. But the truth is, that was not his fault. He had gone undercover to conceal himself. He did not have any friends, and for the last few years, he had not contacted his wife or child. He often went to brothels, gambling dens, restaurants. Those areas were full of people and he could not hide anything there. He could hide it at a pawn shop, but placing so much attention on a scrap-grade fossil was too peculiar. When Shangclan investigates in the future, that would create huge suspicion. In Shangclan City, all sorts of people existed. There were many thief goo masters. But to forcefully take over the flowerbud goo, a rank 3 goo is required. The problem is, why would any rank 3 goo master want to steal from a run-down place like his? Li Ran had lurked for 8 years, so long that he almost forgot his past. When he hid the flowerbud goo, he was very confident, but now his confidence turned into regret and self-blame. Hopefully, the situation can still be salvaged. He returned to his home feeling uncertainty. The door was closed. He opened it and saw the place was in a mess. It was a thief. He suddenly had a thought. Encountering a thief was not scary. As long as his identity was not exposed, all could be salvaged. That's right. Li Ran consoled himself. Every time I contacted Wu Clan, it was a one-sided transmission. There are no evidence on me, and that legendary goo is inside the stellar stone. If it is not opened, who would know the value of it? As long as I find the thief, with my 8 years of experience in this city, as he thought about it, he calmed his emotions and stopped panicking. Should I report the case? Using the guard's ability to arrest the thief? No. I should be polite before resorting to brute force. It is best if I can get back the stellar stone peacefully. The city guards can't be trusted too. They would not spend effort for a small fry like me. Maybe I should hire a Tai Clan goo master. Eh? This is. At this point, he concentrated and found a goo after flipping over his bed. Heart sound goo. This goo is rank 2, green and black in color, around the size of a baby's thumb. It was shaped like a conch shell. One end was large while the other end was tiny, and had a spiral appearance. Heart sound goo comes in pairs. It can allow 2 goo masters to speak internally within 100 steps. Don't tell me. The thief left this behind specially for me? Li Ran's eyes shone with hesitation, but he gritted his teeth and placed the heart sound goo into his ear, like an earplug. Who are you? Li Ran injected primeval essence and activated the heart sound goo, concentrating his mind and asked, that question is not important. The important thing is, Li Ran is a fake name, right? He. Soon after, Fang Yuan's voice appeared in Li Ran's head. That instant, Li Ran's pupil shrunk as he looked like he was struck by lightning, stunned on the spot. Not good. He found out my identity. Li Ran was horror-stricken. The situation had become the worst, but he was, after all, a spy for 8 years. Even with this turn of events, he calmed his mind and spoke to Fang Yuan. Fake name? What fake name? What do you mean? He said as he carefully tiptoed, walking around in the shabby house. He next leaned on the wall, looking at the street outside the window. The heart sound goo has an effective range, only 100 steps away at most. He must be near me. He rapidly thought of a solution. To use the heart sound goo. One has to concentrate in order to speak. Ordinary thinking would not be transmitted. But Fang Yuan was well aware of his mental state, lightly laughing. Don't bother acting, Li Ran. I'm not your enemy, as long as you cooperate. To express my sincerity, we can meet up. Meet up? Li Ran was shocked. Next, Fang Yuan's voice rang in his head. Now, walk out of your room and turn left around the door. Why should I listen to you? Li Ran called out in his mind. Fang Yuan laughed. Don't try to test how much I know. It is beyond your imagination. I will count to 5. Consider well. 1. Fang Yuan counted. Li Ran rapidly thought about the situation. Even though the flowerbud goo was in the thief's hands, they had no evidence that he was a Wu Clan spy. He had lurked for 8 years. How could there be evidence? 2. Fang Yuan spoke casually. If at this time, he listened to Fang Yuan and get spotted by others, that would be concrete proof that he was a spy. But if he did not listen, what happens to the stellar stone? 5. Fang Yuan continued to count. Li Ran's mind was thrown into chaos as he scolded. Goddamn, can you even count properly? He, it seems you have come to a decision. Fang Yuan laughed. Li Ran breathed deeply, his fist clenched tightly, as he gritted his teeth and left the house. He walked out of the door and arrived at a busy street. Next, he turned left. About 50 steps later, Fang Yuan's voice rang out again. Turn right. At the third cross junction, turn left. He can see my movements. He has to be beside me. But who? Li Ran had sharp vision, like an eagle sweeping the crowd. I would advise you not to look around. That is not your usual behavior. After 8 years, you wanted all to go down the drain. Fang Yuan quickly said. Damn it. Li Ran gritted his teeth till they squeaked. Fang Yuan's threat made him lower his head as he looked ahead. Following Fang Yuan's instructions, he turned and walked around in circles until Fang Yuan told him to stop. Turn around. Fang Yuan quickly followed. In your vision, there should be a restaurant. Go to the 3rd story. I will be waiting there. Li Ran looked, and his heart jumped. This restaurant was the one he often came to, Fu Tai Xianghe restaurant. Don't tell me, he had a bad feeling in his heart. The thief held so much information about him. It felt like he was stripped bare naked in the winter snow plains. He entered the restaurant. The familiar shop assistant looked at him, enthusiastically calling out, Lord Li Ran, you are here? Please come upstairs. Li Ran's grim face smiled slightly as he carried his utmost vigilance and ascended the ladder. Halfway through, before the second floor. Wait. Fang Yuan suddenly said. Li Ren stopped his movement, asking, "What?" "Go downstairs and out of the door." Fang Yuan instructed. Li Ren snorted, having no choice but to leave. The shop assistant looked at him, feeling confused, quickly asking, "What is the matter, Lord? Are you not eating anymore?" Li Ren waved his hand, asking him to leave, as he walked out of the restaurant. "Opposite you, there is a shop selling baked pancakes. Go buy a few." Fang Yuan continued. Li Ren's eyes twitched, but he followed the instructions, buying a few pancakes. "Okay, now return to the third floor of the restaurant." Fang Yuan said again. Li Ren's forehead was popping with veins as he held the pancake and returned to the restaurant. The shop assistant saw him entering again, looking at him weirdly. "Lord Li Ren, if you want to buy pancakes, just call me. I can buy it for you." "Scram!" Li Ren shouted, scaring the shop assistant as he shuddered and stopped talking. He got to the third floor and stopped after the ladder. "Continue. Take 2 to 3 steps and turn left. You will see me." Fang Yuan instructed. Li Ren followed the instructions as he walked around a pillar and finally saw Fang Yuan sitting at his usual spot. Next, he saw Fang Yuan stretch out his hand, inviting him to the seat. At the same time, he heard in his mind, "Please take a seat." Li Ren did not speak, quietly sitting before Fang Yuan, then staring at him without blinking. The truth is, Fang Yuan's youthful appearance gave him a huge shock. When they conversed, Fang Yuan held him tightly by the collar. He subconsciously pictured the image of Fang Yuan as an unscrupulous middle-aged man, or an elderly wearing a hat, hiding his face in the darkness. But the truth was completely the opposite. The voice from the heart sound goo would always be tuned. It cannot ascertain age, but could easily determine the gender. If he did not see it with his own eyes, Li Ren would never have thought the mysterious man was so young. Fifth Inner City streetlights passed the windows and shone on Fang Yuan's face. Although he had a plain look, his eyes were as black as ink, like an abyss, deep and mysterious. Li Ren memorized Fang Yuan's face deep in his heart. Although this was the first time they met, he could swear he would never forget Fang Yuan's appearance in this life, because it was due to this young man that all his plans were foiled, and in such a helpless way. Chapter 285. All-Out Effort Goo. On the dinner table, dishes and wine produced amazing fragrance. The surrounding tables, some people were playing drinking games, some recited poems, others were playing around. It was a relaxed and fun atmosphere. Fang Yuan and Li Ren sat opposite each other. They looked very peaceful, but they were secretly sizing each other up. It was the calm before the storm. Li Ren had deep killing intent in his heart, and although Fang Yuan looked relaxed, he was also wary of Li Ren. "Who exactly are you?" Li Ren asked using the heart sound goo. "I said before, that is not important. Pass the pancake to me." The first half was spoken internally, while the second sentence was using his mouth. Li Ren was stunned, before pushing the paper bag towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan opened the bag, taking out a pancake and biting, nodding. "Now this is the flavor I wanted. I'm so sorry for the trouble." Next, he used the heart sound goo. "Do you know, I tailed you for several days below this restaurant. I got hungry and bought a pancake, and found it really delicious. Want to try?" Li Ren had no mood to try the pancake. He snorted in his heart, asking, "Aren't you afraid I'll poison it?" But on the surface, he smiled and said, "It is no big deal, no trouble at all. Don't forget we have a great relationship." Fang Yuan laughed out loud, staring at Li Ren with deep meaning, transmitting in his mind, "You think I don't know what you have?" Li Ren smiled more brightly, but his heart sank. "He is trying to remind me. That's right. The enemy is hiding in the shadows while I am out there. I did not even sense him tailing me these few days. He should have known all about me already. If I fight him now, there is a low chance of success. Thus he used this pancake to warn me." Fang Yuan saw Li Ren keeping silent, his eyes shifting around, and knew the warning got through. Thus he took out the stellar stone. Li Ren's gaze was attracted, but the stone was quickly taken away. The next moment, Fang Yuan's voice rang in his mind. "Stop pretending. I know the all-out effort goo is inside this." "What?" Li Ren's heart shook like he had been struck by lightning. Even if he was a good actor, his expression changed, showing fluster and fear. He had been hoping the secret of the stellar stone would not be exposed. After all, it came from Wei Shenjing. There were no flaws. But to think the matter had worsened to this extent, the other party knew the all-out effort goo was sealed inside. Wait, the matter regarding the all-out effort goo, only a few people know about it. Even I only knew about it soon after receiving it. How did he find out? The matter is complex now. I am confident there are no loopholes on my end, thus this should have been exposed on the clan's side. Wu clan can send a spy like me here. Shang clan can also send theirs over. The few large clans in the southern border, they infiltrate each other, and there are spies everywhere. They should be clear of each other's matters. If not, how could he know about the all-out effort goo? That's right, I was so vigilant. How could I make a mistake and let him get a hold on me, or even suspect me? To think my home clan has been infiltrated to this extent, it is truly scary. But maybe that isn't the case. In this world, there are too many special goo worms. Fang Yuan left Li Ran ample time to think. He was a smart person. The more he thought, the more suspicious he would get. Subconsciously, he would imagine Fang Yuan to be stronger, more mysterious, and scarier. That would make him feel inferior during the discussion. Fang Yuan played with the stellar stone. After a while, when the time was almost ripe, he continued transmitting his voice. I want the all-out effort goo. Li Ran was stunned, not understanding Fang Yuan's deeper meaning. But I know, if I take this goo, I would face the wrath and revenge of your clan. Thus, I need your cooperation. Fang Yuan's gaze was eerie. To be able to plot against Shang clan, they had to be an equally large clan. If Fang Yuan took the all-out effort goo by force, he would be enemies with this clan. This stellar stone was like bait on a hook. If Fang Yuan wanted to eat this bait, he needed to avoid getting stuck on the hook. Li Ran revealed a mocking smile. You want me to cooperate with you? What a joke. On what basis? Based on the fact that I do not want to be enemies with you. Even if I have the purple thorn token, I do not want to be enemies with you. Because like you, I have people I want to protect. Fang Yuan said in his mind to Li Ran. As he looked out of the window. At the same time, he said with his mouth, I heard that shop sells great tofu. Li Ran squinted, his eyes showing a ferocious gaze, screaming in his mind. Are you threatening me? Fang Yuan shook his head. In his eyes, there were clouds drifting, as he showed a complex emotion on his face. Li Ran instantly caught his emotion. There were sadness, pain, helplessness, and fondness. Are you not clear of your situation? Fang Yuan said in his mind. People like us, squeezed between two strong forces, living on the edge every day, hiding our emotions in the depths of our hearts, and could die any time. Since we chose this path, we can only continue walking on it. It is all for the clan. We have no regrets. But some people, they are innocent. Why should they be implicated into our business and bear the risks for us? Li Ran's heart stirred, staring at Fang Yuan in disbelief. You are a spy too? Fang Yuan laughed helplessly, in a bitter tone. What do you think? Li Ran saw this smile, and his eyes watered, as he stared tightly at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's expression did not have a tint of unnaturalness. As he turned to look outside the window. Li Ran knew he was looking at his own wife and children. Fang Yuan's gaze was so gentle, so dazed, as if he was recalling certain memories. Li Ran did not think he was acting, because this youngster was too young. How could he fake such true emotions? Even at his age, Li Ran could not act to this level. This was his true emotions. Unknowingly, a sense of acceptance towards Fang Yuan grew in his heart. As people in similar situations, they did not need a deep relationship to understand each other. Fang Yuan blinked, looking back at Li Ran, and said, Li Ran, you have lurked in Shang Clan City for 8 years. If your identity is exposed, your mission would fail. Your failure may cause you to lose your life, but more importantly, the clan would suffer a loss, and you would let down their expectations. Li Ran clenched his fists. Fang Yuan's words pulled the strings in his heart. He was loyal to the clan, almost religiously. Otherwise, the clan would not have chosen him to be the spy. Fang Yuan said again, if you fail, your wife would lose her husband. Your son is only 5 now, he would lose his father. If your identity is exposed, there is a high chance of them dying because of you. You only have one step left to succeed. The position of clan elder is your goal, am I right? But do you think that is the end? No. You will continue lurking. As long as Shang clan existed, the clan would need your spying. Li Ran gritted his teeth. Fang Yuan's words hit the nail on the head. All these things, did he not consider them? He only dared to think about them for a moment before stopping. The more he thought about it, the more pressure he felt. The future was really too long. It would cause him to lose the courage to continue. Thus, you need alliance mates, brotherly Ran. Fang Yuan continued speaking. You will not betray your clan. I won't either. You have people you want to protect. So do I. We can cooperate. We need external force to ensure our family's safety. We have to live in order to make contributions to our clans. And the Shang clan is our mutual goal. Of course, this cooperation is only in private. If our clans want to wage war, you will be the first person I will eliminate." After pausing briefly, Fang Yuan added. Liran snorted coldly. Fang Yuan's truthful declaration only made his words more trustworthy. To him, loyalty to the clan is the top priority, next is his family, and then his own life. Fang Yuan's suggestion catered to his three needs. But can this person be trusted? We are from different forces. Cooperation between spies is wishful thinking. Maybe it is because he is young, and coupled with his intellect and courage, he thought of this method. If I was this young, I'm afraid I may do the same, or not. The more Li Ran thought about it, the more he felt Fang Yuan's sincerity. Most importantly, he had no other way out. He was completely exposed before Fang Yuan. If Fang Yuan exposed him, his mission would fail. His 10 years of hard work would go up in flames. How could he accept this? Human nature is complex. They have this thing called fluke mentality. Liran was like someone who was driven to a cliff. With his enemies approaching, he could only jump down. Even if he did not know what was below the cliff, he would still pray that there is a water body below, or maybe he would be saved by some tree branches while descending. He fell into deep silence for a long time. After a few minutes, he used the heart sound goo. "How can I believe you?" Fang Yuan smiled, taking out a poison vow goo. 3 days later, Fang Yuan opened the all-out effort goo in the gambling den, causing the entire district to go into chaos. Did you hear? Someone opened an all-out effort goo in Lan Chao gambling den. Is that really the all-out effort goo? It is a near-extinct ancient goo, able to summon the beast phantom 100% of the time. You guys only knew now? Hee, I know more than you. This extremely lucky person is called Guyu Fangzheng. I don't know why, but he has a purple thorn token. The all-out effort goo was not supposed to be his, but was chosen by a goo master called Li Ran, but he knocked into Guyu Fangzheng, who decided to find problems with him, taking away 3 fossils from him as compensation. That all-out effort goo was within those fossils. Oh dear, he really is unlucky. The all-out effort goo should have been his. This is fate. Lan Chao gambling den. No, I have to go take a look. At once, rumors spread all over Shangclan City.